we also recognize the very simple fact that you know all too well that this state is in economic peril, that we are losing jobs, and if we don't have jobs, we have nothing. Best thing I can do as governor of the state of New York is to bring jobs here. The old expression, best social program is a job. That's exactly right. If we have jobs coming in and there's a tax base, the supervisors can do what they have to do, the county executives can do what they have to do, the mayors can do what they have to do. But the exact opposite has been happening. We've been losing jobs, we've been losing people, especially in upstate New York. And I'll tell you the truth, I'm just, Fannie Lou Hamer used to say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing about young people leaving upstate New York, young people getting on planes at airports to find their future somewhere else. It has to stop, and it has to stop now because they are our future, and they have to stay right here in the state of New York. We have to make it happen, and we have to change the dynamic. You want to attract jobs, you want to grow jobs. This state's reputation is anything but, right? This is a high-tax state, the anti-business state. Lieutenant Governor Bob Duffy tells a story that I asked him to call CEOs in January to try to get them to come to New York. And he called the CEO and asked him to come to New York, and the CEO started to laugh on the telephone. That it was absurd that a business would move to New York. That notion that we were the tax capital, that has to end. Otherwise, you're going to continue to lose people, and you're going to continue to lose jobs. And the way to change the perception is change the reality. And we set out to do that in January. And we set out to do it big time. And Betty's exactly right. We were going to do it with actions and deeds, not words. We had to balance the state budget. $10 billion deficit. One of the largest deficits in the history of the state of New York. We closed that deficit by managing our government better, by tightening our belt, and we didn't raise taxes one penny on the people of this country. We took that property taxes. Property taxes, in my opinion, are the worst tax in the state. And they've been going up year after year after year, and I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, Andrew, I just can't afford to stay here anymore because I can't afford the property taxes. The old question when you went to buy a house used to be, can you afford the mortgage? Now the question is, can you afford the property taxes? And they've been going up 6%, 7%, 8%. Who can afford that in this economy? Whose income is going up 6%? Whose savings account is going up 6%? Literally just squeezing people in their own homes. We've been talking about a property tax cap for over 20 years. 20 years. Massachusetts passed a tax cap in 1980. We first proposed one in the 90s in New York. Since then, we've been talking about it. This year, we made it a reality. There's a tax cap in the state. Property taxes will not go up more than 2% or the rate of inflation unless overridden by the locality. That's the kind of action I'm talking about that sends a different signal that New York is on a different track. And making that property tax cap a reality is going to be a major boost to this state in and of itself. You just wait and see. And we also worked very hard to make the government demonstrate competence. Why? Because government competence equals business confidence. That is a major fact. And all these years where the state government in Albany looked like a joke, that destabilized businesses. And showing that this state government worked. We got our budget done. We got it done on time. We worked through these issues, but we did it like professionals. There was no name calling, no hysteria, no nervous breakdowns, right? We did it like professionals. And we showed confidence. And that in and of itself is a very important signal, and a different signal, to say to business, the business community, we're serious. So we've had a great few months in changing the perception of the state on a macro level. Now we take it to the next step. Everything heretofore, I call that was phase one. Okay? That was the macro. Now we get down to the micro, and we get to where the rubber really meets the road, which is community by community. Now, how do you actually grow the economy in the state after you did what you needed to do on a statewide basis? The state really doesn't have one economy. And one of the mistakes they made in the past, I think, was assuming there's one economy in the state and Albany could dictate the universal elixir for all economies. It doesn't work that way. There is no one economy. There is an economy in the North Country. There is a different economy in Western New York and Buffalo. There is a different economy on Long Island. There is a different economy in Manhattan. And what works in one place may or may not work in another place. And each region has its own unique combination of strengths and opportunities and possibilities and challenges. And the way it's going to work is you have to come up with a discrete strategy, a discrete fingerprint for each region. And I don't know how to do that. And Albany shouldn't be doing that. You know how to do that. It's your community, these are your businesses, you live here, you know how to actually forge a strategy that works. So what Ken was talking about, total 180 for the state, we're coming to you. And we're saying, we've done what we can do on a statewide basis, we'll continue to do it, but now it's up to you. You have to come up with a specific blueprint, a specific roadmap on how to grow the North Country economy. What are the challenges, what are the opportunities, what are the assets, what are the liabilities, and how do we grow from here? We're here to help. The state has a role. We will incentivize the process. $200 million in economic development money, $1 billion in state money in the consolidated application. We'll provide leadership, we'll convene, we'll facilitate, but it's going to be up to you. We're going to be holding a competition among the regions, looking for the best plans in the regions. Why? Because competition works. Competition gets the blood flowing. Competition gets the energy going. And we want to make sure, frankly, we're carefully investing taxpayer dollars. And we want to invest it in plans that are going to work and plans that rise to the top. And that's what the $1 billion in funding is all about. Localities competing for that money. That's the incentive, that's the leadership, and that's the purpose for the competition. Now, I believe that you are going to be in an exceptionally strong position. First, you have some great leaders, and then you have really outstanding assets that you're going to be building. I started to think back these past few weeks to my old job when I was working on all this economic development, all these economic development concepts. I had been in Washington for 8 years as HUD secretary under Bill Clinton. And I did just this. I did economic development. I did it all across the country. And during that period, I worked in literally every state in the United States, over 600 cities, and I was in most states 10, 15 times. I know everything that this nation has to offer. The expression, been there, done that, I've been there, done that. I've seen it all. I've seen the most beautiful parts of the country, I've seen the least beautiful parts of the country, I've seen the monuments, I've seen the history. The concept that anyone would leave New York State to go anywhere else is a bizarre and foreign concept to me. I've been there. No place has anything more. We have it all here. When you think about the assets that we bring to the table, you could not imagine having anything that we don't have. There is no asset that God created or man provides that we don't have here. We have the best education system in the country. The SUNY system is gold. We have the best higher education, the best medical facilities. We have an environmental context that you couldn't find anywhere else in the country, period. What the North Country has in terms of natural beauty is incomparable in the nation, if not on the globe. So everything we could have, we have here. The one thing we haven't had, I believe, in the past is we haven't had a state government that is as good as the people of this state. And the state government is now working for it. And the second thing we haven't had is the ability to come together and organize and show how good we can be when we work together. And that's what this is going to be all about. It's going to be about working together as a region, getting past boundaries, getting past borders, showing how good we can be as New Yorkers when we come together to plan our future. That's what this is. And it's as simple as this. Our basic responsibility as a public official, as a citizen, as a parent, is to leave a home to our children that is a little bit better, a little bit sweeter, a little bit safer, a little bit richer than the home that we have. And our home is New York. And let's build that future for our children. Because I don't want your children or my children going anywhere else. This is home. They're going to stay here.